Have you ever picked a single word to define your entire year? Imagine how one word could guide your goals, your mindset, and even your perspective of life. For me, 2025 is all about persistence. And today I'll share why I chose this word, how Neville Goddard's powerful teachings has shaped my understanding of the actual word, and why this concept means so much to me that I actually plan on getting it tatted somewhere on this body. But stick around if you're ready to dive into a fresh perspective that could inspire your word for the year. Welcome back to Lex Talk. In case you may be wondering where this setting is, I am actually at work. I felt so inspired to hit record and share this message, so here I am. I'm your host, Lex, and I'm so excited to kick off today and kick off 2025, or whenever you're tuning into this episode. Persistence has been a part of my journey for a while now, and let me tell you about a moment that I had last year that reminded me of that truth. It was always in her, always has been, and always will be. She persisted. This clip was from my birthday photoshoot last year, and it's a moment that I will never forget. I wanted to take the time to celebrate not the woman that I am, but the woman I'm also becoming, because the persistence is what got me there. So writing those words on the mirror felt like I was really reclaiming a part of myself. A declaration that no matter what life throws my way, I'll keep showing up. The essence of persistent. It reminds me that persistence isn't something you find. It's something that was always in you, and it's always been there. It's like that quiet little teeny voice in your head that says, keep going. Looking back on 2024 was full of challenges, but through every obstacle, that voice inside told me to stay strong. I had a lot of crazy moments last year, and as I step into 2025, I want to hold that same strength that I did last year, and to honor it and to let it guide me in some way. I've been reflecting on Neville Goddard's views on persistence. His teachings really deepened my understanding of what the word persist means. And if you're not familiar with Neville Goddard, please get familiar. He is one of the greatest spiritual teachers that I personally read. He's a spiritual teacher who often spoke about the power of imagination, the power of faith, and of course, the power of persistence when it comes to manifesting our desires. One of my favorite insights from him is the idea that persistence isn't just about effort. It's about faithfully holding on to that assumption of your desired outcome. It's about living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when the physical 3D or physical evidence hasn't shown up just yet. In the words of Goddard, and I'm going to quote this, you must persist in the assumption that you already are the person you want to be. Live by faith in this persistence. Just wanted to read it word for word, so there's no mistake. But isn't that powerful? It reminds me that persistence isn't just an action. It's all about a mindset. So how am I planning to embrace persistence this year? So here are a few things that I'm going to focus on. Number one, breaking those big goals into smaller bite-sized steps. So persistence doesn't mean tackling everything at once, even when you feel like you have that extra energy to do so. So for me, it's breaking it down into goals, into smaller manageable chunks. So I'm going to provide an example. Last year, I wanted to get into a healthier weight and become debt-free. Instead of being so overwhelmed by the big picture, get down into smaller quarter-sized steps. So in regards to health, for me, I focus on losing a few pounds, a few inches. How did I feel in my clothes? How did I feel in regards to my confidence? Instead of that big goal that I accomplished this year. Now I was able to do 3 5Ks and love pole dancing. As far as finances, instead of looking at that big student loan, break it down into manageable chunk pieces. If you're me and you're a millennial, you guys know what those student loans be looking like. By focusing on those smaller wins, I stay consistent and avoid burnout. And trust me, as an occupational therapist, I know exactly what burnout feels like. No matter how small your goals are, it's still progress to the bigger picture. Number 2, staying rooted in faith. Persistence is also staying connected to your why. Please define your why. When I look back on my younger self, I see a girl who dreamed big, but also needed someone to believe in her. I made a promise to her that I would not let her down. So every time I feel like I was giving up or anything, those negative thoughts, I think about her and I think about dreams she had, and that kept me going. It's like carrying a little piece of faith with you every day, or like how some people carry a little crystal with them. It's been the momentum that I needed to keep me pushing, especially during those very hard, difficult days. Number 3, celebrating progress, not perfection. Persistent is not about being perfect. It's about celebrating all the small wins throughout the journey. It's always about celebrating those little accomplishments or big accomplishments, or even stepping out to accomplish your goals. A moment I'll never forget was when I climbed the pole for the first time. I know, you're like, really, that's the example? But from the first time during pole fitness, I couldn't immediately focus on the next move, the next trick that I wanted to master. And being like those girls with the heels and doing the splits and all those good things, I paused and like basked in that moment. Like, hey, I gave myself the space to feel proud of what I accomplished before immediately rushing to whatever was the next step or the next move to learn. That's the thing about progress. It deserves to be celebrated. Those moments reminds us that persistence matters. It gives us the energy that we need to keep going. And last but certainly not least, number 4, building habits that stick. As the book Atomic Habits teaches, if you haven't read it, please go and read it. It teaches us that persistence is often about making habits much easier. And one of the tricks that I learned from that book is what is called habit stacking. For example, even if you don't have healthy habits yet, there is something you do every day, even if it's subconsciously. Maybe it's even just brushing your teeth or making that Dunkin' Donut run like me. Why not, at those moments that you know you're automatically gonna do it, stack another task on top of that. Started adding the 5-minute breath work right after I brush my teeth, or part of my morning routine as discussed in the previous episode. because I was gonna brush my teeth anyway. I was not about to go to work with a smelly breath. So over time, that small habit became natural to me. So why does these steps even matter? Why am I even talking about this? Persistence is about showing up for yourself in ways that feel manageable and meaningful. You don't have to do it all at once, and you don't even have to make it look perfect. You can create that momentum that carries you forward, even when the road gets tough. Now, I want to leave you with one question. What's your word for 2025? Maybe it's persistence like me, or maybe it's something else like courage, growth, balance, or even peace. Whatever it is, I encourage you to hold on to your guiding light this year. And anytime when the road gets tough, always go back to that word that's going to define your year. It's quick, it's right on your back of your mind. You can bring it out at any time. And if you haven't chosen a word yet, take some time to reflect. Take time to think about it. Think about what you want this year to even feel like for you, and what values you want to embody. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all about what resonates with you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today at my workplace on my break. And I'm so glad and grateful that I was able to spend it with you. I'm so grateful of the community that I've built thus far and the opportunity to share my journey with you all. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps this podcast grow and to reach to more amazing listeners like you. And if you want, share your 2025 word with me or connect with me or any of the socials that I have. They're all in the description box below, and you can also comment below. Don't have wine or anything, but I have the Snapple. Cheers to persistence, cheers to progress, and cheers to showing up for ourselves. Until next time, take care, keep going, and you've got this. Bye for now.